these cords like really ruin the aesthetic of my bookshelf. I need to get like some hooks to push them up. Just ignore them, okay? Just ignore them. Also ignore the bad lighting. I'm sorry, but it becomes nighttime at 3 p.m. in the UK, and today it became nighttime at about 2 o'clock. Plus, I can't have my blinds open because I'm pretty sure that a man across the street in the opposite apartment building was creeping on me today. Freaked me out. I've shut the blinds. It's dark in here. I don't have any professional lighting equipment. I'm sorry. Hopefully one day. But today, on a happier note, we are talking about your favorite and most disappointing books of 2023. So welcome to Bookmas Day number 6. My name is Ragan. Welcome back to my channel. I talk about fantasy, romance, and I'm excited to dive into what you loved and what you were disappointed by this year. Some of my opinions line up with yours, and of course we have some books on there that are gonna be on both lists, and people have got some hot takes, so let's dive into it. I asked you over on Instagram and in my community tab what your favorite and least favorite books are, and you did not disappoint. I'm gonna go through your favorite books first, and I'm gonna talk about the ones that came up the most often. So the first one that popped up was Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. I have not picked up this book because I actually didn't complete the Darker Shades of Magic trilogy 3 years ago. I really loved book 1 of Darker Shades of Magic. Book 2, I did not enjoy. And I think if I were to read it again now, I probably would give it fewer stars, but I was just getting back into reading after a head trauma, so I was a little bit more lenient at the time, but I just couldn't make it past 100 pages in book 3. But I'm happy for you that you are enjoying the continuation of the series. If you don't know, I think it takes place 10 years after the end of the original trilogy, following the characters and the repercussions of what happened in that series, which I think is very cool by V.E. Schwab. So I'm very happy that a few of you enjoyed it so much. We also have a big a big contender for a favorite book. It would be A Court of Mist and Fury. I understand. I also reread that book this year. Still one of my all-time favorites, top tier, god tier books that I will enjoy for the rest of my life. I understand. Then we have one that's appeared quite a bit on favorites list, and that would be A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. Now, should I talk about it here? Maybe I should. Right, so forget breaking this video down into favorites and most disappointing books because these books overlap, so I'm just going to tell you now that the number one answer for most disappointing book that you said was A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I am surprised, but I'm also not surprised. I don't know what I was expecting everyone's least favorite, I shouldn't say least favorite, most disappointing book would be. I think maybe people who love this book are just a little bit more vocal, so I just assumed that it wouldn't be everyone's least favorite, but clearly many of you felt the same way that I did. After reflection, and it's been a couple of months since I've read this book, it feels very middle of the road for me. It was fine, which is not a good adjective. It's not it was fine. It was good, but it was fine, and I agree that this is probably my most disappointing book of the year as well, because I had such high expectations for it and those expectations were not met. Such a shame. Yeah, but if you did love this book, I'm very happy for you. I did see that a few answers came in that you wanted to include the entire trilogy in your favorites, so maybe you binged them back to back to back, and maybe that was a different experience for you to maybe someone like me. I read the books as they've come out over the last 3 years, which I think many of you probably have read it that way as well. So I don't know, I've had a year between this book and the last book to really build up the hype and what I wanted to see come from it with these characters, and unfortunately that didn't happen. So yeah, your most disappointing book of the year was A Curse for True Love, but a few of you loved it. So I am happy for you that you enjoyed it so much. I loved this next answer. A few of you said that your favorite book out of everything you've read was Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I adore this as well. I don't think it's my favorite book of the year because I've read a lot of 5-star books, but definitely in my top 10. I'm gonna make a video categorizing my top 10 or top 20 books of the year. It was so beautifully written. I don't think that anyone said it was their least favorite. So that just goes to show, I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, no one has come in to my DMs or community tab saying that this was their least favorite book, so I think that that's a great sign. So if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. So beautifully written. I'm not going to go into the synopsis here. I've done that in several videos, but please look it up. It's awesome. I only had one person come in and say that this next book was their favorite book of the year, and I'm so happy that if this was you, that you said it, because I adore this book. I think it's my favorite 2023 release, and it's also a debut author, and she has excelled. That would be A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. Book 1 in the Sacred Stones trilogy. Book 2 comes out in April. A Promise of Peridot, I think it's April 4th. It's so good. Enemies to lovers, slow burn, mystery, twists, turns, fae, will they, won't they, magical creatures, I don't know. Just, it's a thing, it's a vibe. It's a whole vibe of a book. Check it out, it's awesome. I'm also very excited that one of you actually said that this was your favorite read of the year, and it's a novella, and that would be Six Scorched Roses by Trisha Broadbent. So good. I've raved about this book for the last several months. I think I read this 3 months ago now. It technically takes place after The Serpent and the Wings of Night, but I read it first, and it was brilliant. It is the best novella I think I've ever read. She is such a brilliant writer, was able to capture an entire world building, synopsis, plots, development, character growth, feelings, and I'm not speaking very well at all, but I just basically want to say that what most people try to achieve in 400 pages, Trisha Broadbent did in like 200 or less, 183. Amazing. So I agree with you. Another book that came up a bit was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I kind of regret not getting this because I actually canceled my Fairly subscription box for that month. I didn't want to spend the extra money that month, and that was the book that came. And then I ended up getting page overlays in a following Fairly book box to put in that book, and I'm like, oh my god, well, everyone loves this book, and I also have these beautiful page overlays that I don't have the book for. I just didn't think that it was going to be something that I liked, which is kind of interesting because it should be. It's like historical romance mixed with fae that are very inspired by folklore, so they're kind of evil and dark, but I don't know, it just seems more cozy fantasy than what I typically like. I really like high stakes and action-packed quick love. I like just things to move quicker in my books, but maybe this is something that I need to check out. One of you said that you actually had 2 favorite books, and I want to talk about both of them. I actually own both of them. The first one is Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. I love this book as well. It came out last year, I think. Was it 2022? 2021. Oh my gosh, it's been a full 2 years. I love this. It's YA. Margaret Rogerson wrote Sorcery of Thorns, which is really popular. It's probably her most popular book. I adored it, so I'm glad that you were able to read it and brought it up. And then a 2023 release that you loved was The Adventures of Amina Al-Sharafi. I'm so annoyed at myself because I actually started this book in July because I was gonna read like desert-based settings in the summer when it was really hot, but I don't know, I just got overwhelmed with other things in life and didn't continue on with that vlog. But look, it has the most beautiful hardback, and then the map is actually foiled. This is the Fairy Loot edition. Stunning, stunning, stunning. This is an adult book as well, so I do need to check it out in 2024. A few of you said that your favorite book of the year was the entire Throne of Glass series. I will let that one go. It is not one book, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. But I'll tell you what, it's one of my favorites of all time, and I actually read both Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash in 2023, and I don't know how I'm going to rate them. I just realized also that these are kind of like out of order, although they could be tandem read. Anyway, I'm not surprised at all by this answer. Most of you said that your favorite book was this next one, so your favorite book of the year, which is not my favorite book of the year, this was on my disappointments list, but that would be Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I am very happy for you if you ended up loving this book. I think what happened for me was the fact that I hadn't even heard of it, and then suddenly one day everyone was talking about it and I couldn't even find it to buy. I was looking on Amazon, couldn't get it. You had to like get on a wait list to purchase it. And I found it on sale in Forbidden Planet in London. And there was only like one copy left. So I grabbed it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's romantasy, it's fantasy romance. I don't know, someone came at me in one of the comments on another YouTuber's video saying that it's not a romantasy. I disagree, I think it's a romantasy, the first one. The second one, Iron Flame, which was probably number 2, I think, looking at everyone's votes that came in. However you describe it, romantasy, fantasy romance, whatever. I thought that I was like the target audience for this book, and I think I am, but it just did not live up to the hype in any way for me. So I am sad that I can't like fangirl over it like you can. I want to know why this is your favorite book. Can you drop a comment down below and tell me why you loved it so much? It's not a book that I hated. It's not a book that I necessarily even disliked while I was reading it. I had fun reading it, but it was when I closed the book at the end, I was like, okay, but why is it so popular? Like, I think Dawn of Onyx was a better book than Fourth Wing, but that's just my opinion, but not very many people have read Dawn of Onyx. So I don't know, I'm spiraling right now. I want you to tell me, why did you love this book so much? And if it's your favorite, I'm very happy for you that you found it and you were able to read it. There's nothing better than finding a new favorite all-time book. Like that warm, gushy feeling in your heart and stomach. Ugh, so good. And that's how I felt about Divine Rivals and not A Curse for True Love. I didn't feel that way. What else did I feel about? Oh, House of Sky and Breath. You know, I read that this year. Anyway, let's talk about some of your other most disappointing books. Okay, going through these on my laptop. Ooh, all right. Several of you said that Fourth Wing was your least favorite book. Or not least favorite, sorry, I keep saying that. Several of you said that Fourth Wing was your most disappointing book. I would also put that in my category of most disappointing books. So we've just talked about that. A few of you also mentioned Iron Flame. I'm currently stuck at page 77 for the last 3 weeks. I have not been able to continue on with it just because I'm finding it very dull and boring, and there's so much politics going on, good grammar. There's a lot of politics going on, and I'm not interested, and the romance has like fizzled. I don't know what's going on with this for me, but I'm in that band camp with you. So many people said that they were utterly devastated by A Curse for True Love, and I also feel this way. But aside from that, a few of you mentioned Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I have actually never been interested in picking up that book. I don't know why. Like, I loved Six of Crows, but Ninth House just never spoke to me. So you'll have to let me know in the comments down below why you disliked Ninth House so much. I don't know, I've never felt like the urge to pick it up. One of you mentioned Light Lark, that you were so gutted and disappointed about this book. So Light Lark is by, I think her name is Alex Astor, controversial author for the last few months. Or not last few months, for the last year, she's kind of been a controversial author. I actually had pre-ordered Light Lark, and I received some page overlays with my pre-order. And then after reviews started coming out, early book reviews, ARCs were sent out, I ended up canceling my pre-order because it wasn't what it was marketed to me as. I felt kind of misled intentionally by the author's Instagram promotions of it and some other social media bits, and I haven't heard good things about it since. So I'm not sad that I didn't pick it up. I'm sad for you that you did pick it up and you didn't like it. I did see that the sequel's out, and I didn't hear anything about that, which is really strange. I just like popped into Waterstones a couple weeks ago and I saw the sequel on the shelf, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this had even come out. So very strange going from like Light Lark being everywhere, blowing up all over TikTok and Instagram, and yeah, TikTok and Instagram, and then suddenly like no one's talking about the sequel. One of you said that your most disappointing books was Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I loved this book, but it's definitely a guilty pleasure read. And I've actually talked to you about this book and why you disliked it so much. So if there are any other of you who also disliked this book or loved it, drop your comments down below with why. Just like put a spoiler in the beginning, so like, you know, and then like drop some spaces down below so people who don't want to be spoiled by anything aren't spoiled by it. I loved this because it's just like a fun, very steamy adult fantasy romance book. I understand why you didn't like it because it's so, like you pointed out, they got in the shower together very quickly. Like they've known each other for like 5 minutes, you know what I mean? So I understand why you're disappointed by this book. She's popping out books left, right, and center. She is an auto-buy author for me, but I need to catch up on her other series, and she keeps coming out with more and more books. Like she has down here, the Light and the Flame series that's coming off of From Blood and Ash. I need to continue on with that, and she started this new series, so I need to catch up on JLA. I love this next one. So actually it's from my mom. My mom DM'd me and said that her biggest disappointment of the year was A Merry Little Meet Cute, and she said it was a major DNF. So I haven't read that book. You'll have to let me know, Mom, why you disliked it so much. I love the cover. I think it's pink, if I'm thinking of the right book. I'm gonna pop a cover up on the screen for all of these. But if you have read that book and you have opinions on it, drop a comment down below. Maybe you and my mom will agree. A few of you said that your most disappointed read was The Brothers Hawthorne, which makes me sad. I haven't reached that book yet. I'm still slowly reading the first one. But The Brothers Hawthorne is like, is it a companion book or is it a continuation of the series? You'll have to let me know, those of you who have read it. But that makes me sad because I want to love this series like so many of you do. A few other most disappointing reads were Daisy Joan and the Six, which I have not read, but that's a super popular book, so if it was too hyped up for you and then it like didn't live up to your expectations, I can understand why that would be disappointing. Lessons in Chemistry was another one that cropped up. I haven't read this as well. I've never been interested in it, but again, another really popular book. Someone said that Twisted Love was awful by Anna Huang. I started to read, oh my gosh, what is her billionaire romance series? King of Wrath, I think. Is that what it is? I don't know, I'll pop a cover up on the screen. I could not get into it. I'm not a billionaire romance girly. Twisted Love, is it a billionaire romance as well? At this point, like, I don't know what I'm saying, but Anna Huang is a major author, so I know that there are camps of people that like read all of her books and love them, especially like the romance girlies on BookTube love Anna Huang, and then there are those in the field that don't care for her work. I would try something else by her. Maybe it was just like that one book that just didn't do it for me, but I don't know. Okay, a couple more. Two of you said that your most disappointing book was The Prison Healer. Now, I'm surprised by this, just because I haven't heard anything negative about it. I just looked it up, and Goodreads says that it has a 4.2 out of 5, which is huge, and that it's perfect for fans of Sarah J. Maas and Sabaa Tahir, which are two of my all-time favorite authors, so that makes me sad. I want to know why you didn't like it. Was it just the first one that you didn't like, or was it the whole trilogy? Because I think it's a trilogy, right? This next one makes me a little nervous. One of your most disappointing reads was A Far Wilder Magic by Allison Saft, and I have actually just pre-ordered an Allison Saft book. Her latest upcoming release is coming out in January. It's actually arrived to my house already. I think you will have seen the pre-orders video by now, I'm not sure. That book has arrived, and it's called like A Fragile Enchantment or something, and I am excited about it. But you did not enjoy her first book. It has a 3.8 on Goodreads. It's a YA fantasy. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. So those were a few of the most disappointing and most loved books of 2023 that you read. I will be making my tier ranking video at the beginning of January of every book that I read in 2023. I am not a book girly to put out those videos in November and December, like end of 2023, best of and worst of, because I'm like, I need all of the year, literally until the 31st, to meet my Goodreads goal. Like, I am reading up until the last minute. When it hits midnight, okay, fine. Then we can talk about the best and worst. But there are still books on my TBR that I am very adamant to read that I have 5-star predictions for. So I'm gonna wait until January to make that video for you. Drop a star emoji down below. Let me know what your favorite and most disappointing books are. I would love to chat about these books in the comments, but please write at the top that there are spoilers in it, and then drop a couple spaces down just so that we don't spoil anything for anyone that doesn't want to maybe see any spoilers. And let me know your hot takes on any of these books. Love you so much. Thank you for watching. I will see you in Bookmas Day number 7 tomorrow. Bye.